I thought I understood my life. I thought I knew the people in it. I was wrong. My wife had just left for the store when my 7-year-old daughter stepped into my office and whispered, "Dad, we need to leave. Right now." Lily is not dramatic. You need to understand that before anything else, because everything that happened after depends on it. She doesn't exaggerate. She doesn't panic. When she gets hurt, she tells you calmly. When something confuses her, she asks questions instead of crying. One time she watched me stitch a cut on my hand and asked, completely serious, "Does that pull, or are you just used to it?" That's who she is. So when she stood in my doorway that Saturday morning, barefoot, still in her pajamas with small yellow stars, and I saw that she was shaking, I didn't hesitate. I stood up before she even finished speaking. "We don't have time," she whispered. "We have to go now." Her eyes were wrong. Not the kind of fear kids get from nightmares or loud noises. This was different. This was the kind of fear adults have when they understand something they wish they didn't. Like something had connected in her mind, and she didn't have the words for it. But she knew it mattered. "Okay," I said. I didn't ask questions yet. I grabbed my keys. "Let's go." We were in the car in under 90 seconds. My name is Daniel Hargrove. I'm 44 years old, and I own a commercial construction and real estate development company I built from nothing. 63 employees, projects across 4 states. I built it the way I do everything, slow, methodical, no shortcuts, and with a deep distrust of anything that looks easier than it should. In my entire adult life, I trusted exactly 2 people without question. The first was Marcus Reed, my business partner, my best friend for 22 years. He had been there from the beginning, back when it was just a truck, a tool belt, and our first contract in our mid-20s. He was the best man at my wedding. He was Lily's godfather. Whenever people asked me about him, I always used the same word: foundational. He was load-bearing. Everything in my life was built around that trust. The second was my wife, Claire Hargrove, 39 years old, former commercial interior designer. She now handled the aesthetic side of our residential projects. She was precise in everything she did. Clean lines, clear words, no wasted emotion. The kind of person who says exactly what she means. For 8 years, she was the person I came home to. I loved both of them without hesitation. That's the thing about unconditional trust. It doesn't protect itself. Claire left the house at 9:40 that morning. She sent her usual text. "Back in an hour. Need anything?" I replied, "Coffee filters." I heard the garage door close behind her. Everything was normal. I went back to my reports. 20 minutes later, Lily was standing in my doorway, shaking. I drove 2 blocks before pulling over. "Tell me what you heard," I said. "Everything. From the beginning." She sat in the back seat with her hands folded in her lap, the way she does when she's concentrating. "I was in my room," she said. "I went to get water. I heard voices upstairs." She paused. "I thought it was the TV, so I went up." "Okay." The door was a little open. "Who was in there?" She swallowed. "Mom?" she said, then quieter. "And Uncle Marcus." The air inside the car shifted. I didn't move. "What were they saying?" She looked at her hands, then at me. "They said the police would think it was an accident." The words went through me like cold air. Not pain, not yet, just suddenly everywhere. My phone buzzed. "Claire. Forgot my wallet. Back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, she would be back in that house. Marcus was already inside, and whatever they planned, it was supposed to happen in that window. I didn't go back. I put the car in drive and went straight to the police station. I didn't stop shaking until Lily leaned forward and placed her hand gently on my shoulder. I am not a man who panics. Not as a point of pride, just a fact. I've handled construction emergencies, financial crises, a lawsuit that nearly destroyed my company when I was 31. My rule has always been simple. When something goes wrong, you don't react. You calculate. I made 3 calls on the way. First, my attorney, Paul Decker. 16 years of handling my legal matters, straight to voicemail. I left a message and moved on. Second, my accountant, Sandra Lynn. 12 years managing my company's finances. The person who knows my financial structure better than I do. Review the last 18 months, I told her. Everything. Flag anything you don't recognize. She didn't ask questions. Okay, she said. I'll call you back today. Third call, Rick Sullivan, former Marine, 2 tours, head of security for my company for 9 years. The kind of man who tells you the truth, even when it costs you. Meet me at the station, I said. Bring everything. I'm on my way. Detective Maria Reyes met us. 14 years in criminal investigations. Calm, patient, the kind of person who listens more than she talks. She sat across from Lily in a small room with plastic chairs and a table, and she just listened. No interruptions, no guiding questions, no pressure, just full attention. Lily repeated everything, word for word. The police would think it was an accident. When she finished, Reyes looked at me. Does your wife think you're still home? Yes. She thinks I'm in my office. Reyes thought for 3 seconds. Good, she said. Let's see what she does. Rick arrived at 11:15 with a hard drive and a laptop. 7 years ago, when I built our house, I installed a secondary surveillance system, interior and exterior, motion activated, off-site storage. Claire didn't know about it, not out of suspicion, out of habit. I understand how things fail. I like backups. Rick integrated that system when he joined, so we pulled the footage. Claire entered the house at 9:58. She didn't go to the kitchen, didn't look for her wallet. She went straight upstairs. Marcus entered at 10:03. Not through the front, not through the garage, through the back door, with a key he should not have had. We watched them in my bedroom. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. No audio. But their body language was clear. Urgent, focused, rehearsed. Marcus checked his watch twice. Claire nodded twice. That precise nod she makes when confirming a plan. Then she picked up my jacket. Not hers, mine, the one I wear on job sites, and carried it toward the garage. Police arrived at 10:28. They found a ladder positioned under an upstairs window. My tools scattered across the garage floor. My jacket placed at the base of the ladder, like someone had fallen while wearing it. They were setting a scene, Reyes said. Her voice was calm, clinical. It was the worst sentence I've ever heard. Rick and Sandra worked through the night. Within hours, things started surfacing. A life insurance policy. Increased 8 months ago. $4.2 million. Claire listed as sole beneficiary. My signature on the document. It wasn't my signature. Forgery. Then the partnership agreement. A clause I had never seen, buried deep in the document. If I died, Marcus took full operational control. At a reduced valuation, he would gain millions. Then the money. Shell companies, Delaware, Nevada, Wyoming. Small transfers over 14 months. $16,000, $11,000, never enough to trigger alerts. Total, $438,000. All linked back to Marcus. I sat there at 2 a.m., coffee cold in my hand, looking at everything. If their plan had worked, Claire would be a widow with millions. Marcus would own my company, and the only person who could expose it would be dead. Then I remembered something Lily said at breakfast. Casual, half asleep. Uncle Marcus said it worked once, and it would work again. I hadn't processed it then, but now I did. I pulled up old records. My father's death, 22 years ago. Construction accident, a beam failure. The safety inspector on site, Marcus Reed, age 23. I stood there staring at my phone, realizing the truth. He had killed my father, and then spent 22 years becoming my best friend. I didn't confront them. I calculated, because I needed proof. Not for me, for the case, for my father. We built it carefully, phone monitoring, financial forensics, reopened case files, everything. 11 days later, Rick came to me. "They're moving," he said. "Flights booked, money being liquidated. They were going to run. We had one shot left." I called Claire, told her I wanted to talk, said I'd be home alone. She agreed. That night, the house was wired, cameras active, officers in position, Reyes nearby. Claire walked in at 7:12. Calm, perfect, like nothing had changed. We sat at the table, talked about nothing, for 11 minutes. Then Marcus walked in. He stopped when he saw me, adjusted instantly, smiled. "Didn't know you'd be home." "I live here," I said. I listed everything, the insurance, the clause, the money. Then I looked at him, and the construction site, 22 years ago. He went still. "You made it easy," he said. Claire stood. She had my gun. It wasn't supposed to be complicated. Marcus pulled his weapon. Then the room filled with police. "Drop it," Reyes said. Marcus dropped his gun. Claire waited 3 seconds, then let hers go. It was over. They were convicted. Marcus, life without parole. Claire, life with parole eligibility. After sentencing, she stopped when she saw me. "We could have started over," she said. I looked at her. "You planned to kill me, while our daughter was upstairs." Then I walked away. My father's death was reclassified. Homicide. Closure doesn't feel like people think. It's quieter, like a weight shifting. Not gone, just moved. Lily is 9 now. She's strong. She's steady. One night she asked me, "Are you sad about Mom?" I thought about it. "I'm sad about who I thought she was." She nodded. "I understand." We eat dinner together every night I'm home. I listen to her completely. The way she deserves. She saved my life. That's the only ending that matters.